Rainbow Six Siege is a tactical shooter and the newest installment of the Rainbow Six series, which has been dormant since 2007's Rainbow Six Vegas 2. Like its predecessors, Rainbow Six Siege was developed by Ubisoft. It is the first of 3 Tom Clancy games to come out in the next year. The game's story is fairly basic. Angela Bassett, or Six as she's referred to, reactivates the Rainbow program due to a new threat. A terrorist group called the White Masks has begun indiscriminately targeting people across the globe. Rainbow, which consists of operatives of multiple nationalities, must hunt them down all over the world. And that's about it. The game has no real story outside of the setup and a few training missions. This game is predominantly multiplayer-oriented. There are 2 types of multiplayer, player versus player and terrorist hunt. In PvP, 2 5-person teams compete against each other. There are 3 sub-modes: Bomb, Hostage, and Secure Area. Bomb requires players to fight over bombs, while Hostage sees them fighting over a hostage. In Secure Area, players are basically locked in a team deathmatch. Terrorist Hunt involves the same game modes as the PvP portion, except it's a 5-man team against bots of varying difficulty. Rainbow Six Siege is based around the idea of close quarters combat. Each map has a building in the center that one team must storm, while the other team defends. The attack operatives come equipped with drones, grapples, and more offensive special weapons, like sledgehammers and high explosive charges. Defenders, on the other hand, must stay inside at all times. They come equipped with barricades and can have things like deployable cover, barbed wire, and C4, as well as more defensive special equipment, such as tripwires and bulletproof barricades. The attacking and defending teams are fairly balanced. This game relies heavily on teamwork and tactical gameplay. Nothing is more humbling to a headshot gamer than a Tom Clancy game where a few bullets kill you. Siege does away with the cover system of the Vegas games, but it does allow the player to lean, an option that has been making a comeback in recent shooters. Players are also encouraged to work together to avoid friendly fire. Gameplay is slow and methodical, basically the exact opposite of games like Halo and the new Call of Duty titles. The maps are all very detailed. The game is built around the idea of siege, meaning one team must assault a building full of defenders. Attackers have many points of entry, as most windows and doors are accessible. Some maps even have back entrances of sorts. Once inside, defenders and attackers can utilize the smartly designed building's layout to their advantage. But instead of letting players slowly grind their way through the hallways, the game features many destructible environments. Whole walls and floors can be demolished to get around defenses. Defenders can also use the destructible environments to their advantage by creating a murder hole of sorts. The level of destruction in the game rivals another franchise known for their destruction. The only problem with the maps is its exteriors. The interiors are very well designed, though. There is a lot of room to run around outside, making it a ripe environment for firefights. But unfortunately, the defense team is stuck inside, and the attackers must storm that building. This renders the exteriors useless, which is a waste. The only time there is ever fighting outside is when players are extracting hostages in Terrorist Hunt. There, terrorists will spawn between you and the extraction point. Each map is pretty interesting and diverse. Players can fight in an embassy, an airplane, and even a suburban house. However, the most unique map is probably the university. It is only available for bomb defusal in Terrorist Hunt, as well as the final mission of the situations, which are basically tutorial levels. The story is that the White Mask terrorists have attacked a university with chemical weapons. Rainbow is sent in to take them out and defuse bombs. The map is choked with poisonous gas and visibility is very low. The Rainbow team must make their way through the massacre site and go into the dark university building. No other map has such low visibility, and the firefights there can become incredibly hectic when no one can see anything. As this is the final tutorial mission, it can be considered a form of graduation for your operator. Speaking of operators, which are the playable characters in this game, they are split up into 2 groups, attackers and defenders. Each operator has special equipment that can be used for attacking or defending, whether it be Ash's grenade launcher or Capcom's booby traps. Operators can be from any counterterrorism unit across the globe. However, a gun's stats doesn't really matter as much as it would in a Call of Duty game. Each gun is pretty balanced, which allows new players to not be disadvantaged right away. Operators and weapon attachments can be unlocked with Renown, which are points earned from doing missions. This is the only real reward the game gives for playing, as leveling up does nothing. Rainbow Six Siege is an effective revival to a long dormant series. It has its negatives. There is basically no story. The game modes are pretty basic. The exteriors are wasted space, but have potential. There's no real difference between counter-terrorist operators. Some of the guns are useless. Some of the operators aren't very popular, and others are a little too popular. The game doesn't really reward you for playing, and the entire game is basically centered around attacking a single building each match. On the other hand, there are many positives. The game looks nice. Teamwork is always fun, and the environments are incredibly well laid out and interesting. There is a lot of enjoyable destructions, and teams are surprisingly well balanced. Operators are distinguished from one another by their gear, and it's an easy game to get into.